Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Rene Nájera. I am the Director of Public Health for the College of Physicians of Philadelphia. And I am sitting here talking to Leah Denbok and Willie Baronet. They are two artists who collaborated with the college and the Motor Museum at the college on an exhibit on homelessness. Homelessness is a big problem in the United States. According to the latest statistics, 653,000 people in the U.S. experienced homelessness at least one night in 2022, which is the year for which the data are most readily available. 15,000 of those folks are in Pennsylvania, with Philadelphia having the biggest burden for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. 6,000 or so residents in Philadelphia, friends and neighbors of ours, have experienced homelessness at least one night in 2022. That is a rate of 36.6 per 10,000, which is about three times higher than the Commonwealth as a whole. 80% of them were sheltered. 80% of them did have the opportunity to go into a shelter and spend the night at a shelter, but that leaves 20% of them who were unsheltered. They were living out on the street, sleeping out on the street, or in encampments in situations that were not amenable for comfort as we know it. In Philadelphia, the problem is so big because Philadelphia, for a city of its size in a country like the US, is a poor city. The median household income is $56,500, but about 20 to 22% of the folks in Philadelphia are living in poverty. They are living below the poverty line for residents in the city. And the biggest statistic that I have here is that 530,000, more than half a million people are living in cost burden housing. That means that over 30% of their income is going to housing. So anything that they earn, 30% or more is going to pay for rent or for mortgage, for anything else having to do with their housing, such as utilities, etc. This burden is not equitable. 50% of Hispanic households in Philadelphia are cost burdened. 46% of Black households are cost burdened, and 32% of white households are cost burdened. So there's an inequity there in who is experiencing this type of burden on housing. 54% of renters are cost burdened in Philadelphia as well. And I bring this up because all it takes is one bad economic downturn to have an increase in the number of people who cannot afford housing in Philadelphia. And so then you would have an increase in the number of people who are experiencing homelessness, who are unhoused, who have to go on shelters, or unfortunately sleep on the streets. So to bring this issue to the forefront of the public in Philadelphia, the Mutter Museum at the College of Physicians of Philadelphia came up with an exhibit on homelessness. This exhibit includes some of the data that I just mentioned to you, brought together by Dr. Rosie Frasso at Thomas Jefferson University and her team, by myself and some research that we did in the public health unit at the college. And then we have these two artists that are joining me today, Willie Baronet and Leah Denbok. We invited them into the museum to Thompson Hall, which is one of the halls there at the College of Physicians, to show us some of their art, which humanizes homelessness and gives us a different perspective on our friends and neighbors who are experiencing homelessness. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Leah and Willie. Leah and Willie, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having
Happy to
us.
be here.
So we are recording this on January 29th. We had the opening of the exhibit on January 13th, a couple of weeks ago. We had a day for the press to come in and ask questions. And then that evening of the 12th, actually, was when the college fellows and museum members were invited to come in to see the exhibit and see the opening. You both were there. Leah, you are a photographer. You have a series of portraits up on one of the walls, beautiful portraits in black and white of people who are unhoused. And Willie, you put together a collage of signs that you've collected over the years, signs that people hold. Maybe you've seen these folks out on the street asking for money and other resources, and they make these beautiful signs with beautiful calligraphy. And if the handwriting is not beautiful, then the messages in them certainly are. And so you were at this opening. It was well received from my point of view, but I wanted to get your take on how you saw it come together. So Willie, what do you think? How did it go?
I thought the opening was amazing. I'm still blown away by how much press coverage has we've received for the exhibit. It seems like because the issue is so significant in Philadelphia that the media has been paying a lot of attention to it. Everyone that I spoke with seemed to really love the way Leah's work and my work seem to both humanize the folks that are on the street. Yeah, I had nothing but positive vibes from everybody who was there, and I have a feeling it's going to deliver, especially, with the data that you all have on the walls, which really brings a scientific aspect to this exhibit. I think it's going to deliver the message that I think we'd all like to see delivered.
And Leah, how was it for you?
I couldn't agree more with Willie. I thought the opening and the entire event thus far have just gone wonderfully. It really couldn't have gone better. We've got incredible feedback back from people that have been able to experience the exhibition. I have heard people coming in and just being blown away, sometimes with tears in their eyes, wanting to be more open to treating people experiencing homelessness well or helping them in some way. And that's just so overwhelmingly good to hear, because that's the goals aligned with our projects is to help. So I'm just so happy that it is accomplishing those goals of making a difference. And I think the whole exhibition all around just couldn't have gone better, and it was also smooth, and everything looks incredible, and I'm just blown away by how amazing everything has gone.
And one thing that I forgot to mention is that we allow the visitors also to give some feedback. We have some little sticky notes on a wall that people can put a message on there, and what are your takeaways, or what do you think can be done to solve the problem. And so a lot of different ideas are being posted up there. Because as we mentioned at the opening, this is a completely solvable problem. This is something that can be, if not eradicated, it can certainly be minimized. And it just takes political will, community action, and a couple of other things to solve this problem. At least here in the US, and such a resource wealthy country, may be a little bit more difficult to do in developing nations, or nations that are suffering from civil strife or war. But let's just look forward, and let's look ahead to what is next. What is next for you, Leah, in terms of your work on this and any other projects?
I'm going to be continuing my project, Humanizing the Homeless, and that will be really surrounded around doing exhibitions and continuing my book series. I have a book series entitled Nowhere to Call Home, Photographs and Stories of People Experiencing Homelessness. Thus far, I have 4 volumes out, but I'm continuing to put volumes out. So right now, working on the 5th and 6th volumes. So those will be coming out hopefully in the near future. As well, I'm going to be doing an exhibition in Toronto. I was hoping to get Willie on board, but this exhibition I just found out, will be a collaboration with some poets who will be sharing some poetry, and it'll be a fundraiser for a local homeless shelter, the Home Horizons Youth Shelter, that's actually in the town I grew up in. So it's really wonderful to be supporting that youth shelter. I'll be doing an exhibition in Toronto in March. And then hopefully Willie and I will be doing another collaboration in Dallas, Texas. We're planning a show at University of Dallas, Texas, and we'll be working with Jonathan Pollant, who has a choir of people that are experiencing homelessness that sing in the choir. And we're hoping to do another event where we can raise awareness for homelessness in Dallas, Texas. And that's just what's in the near future, but there'll be many more things to come.
Good to hear. Willie, what's coming up for you?
So, in addition to the exhibit in Dallas that we are working on scheduling, I actually have another exhibit that's going to open in New York on February the 8th. Literally was designing that yesterday. So, exhibit wise, I don't know if anything else is firm on the calendar yet, but I have been talking to a couple of other locations, somebody in Cleveland, Ohio. So we'll see in terms of exhibits. We are also in the process of trying to pitch a TV series to follow up on the documentary that we completed in 2017 called Signs of Humanity. And one of the I think one of the interesting things about this idea for the TV series is that it would be co hosted by myself and Eddie Dunn, whose sign is up at the Mutter Museum right now. Eddie was a heroin addict in 2014 when I met him and bought his sign. And he has been sober now for 8.5 years. He and I are good friends. And I thought it would be really interesting to continue buying signs, but to have Eddie there to bring the perspective of somebody who has experienced life behind a sign. And unlike Leah, I haven't published any books yet, but I am in the works on both a coffee table book and a children's book, both of which are in development. It's really just a matter of me getting enough time to get them done. So lots on the horizon, and I teach full time, so school has started. So there's that.
Well, you have to pace yourself there, Willie. And if anybody wants to follow you on social media, where can they find you, Leah, and then Willie?
The best places to follow me online would be I have my website, which is humanizingthehomeless.org. And that would be the best, well rounded place because I have my upcoming exhibitions, new photos, media interviews, everything is on there. But then the direct social media links would be Instagram, which is humanizing underscore the underscore homeless. So just underscores in between humanizing the homeless. And that's my account dedicated to my Humanizing the Homeless project, where I post all of my updated photos and stories. So it's really the best way to see updated images that I've been taking, even from a few weeks ago, things that aren't published anywhere else. And additionally, I have a Facebook, LinkedIn, and I think it's X now instead of Twitter, with Humanizing the Homeless as well. And it would be wonderful if people follow the project because I'm always posting new photographs and stories and things around the project.
And for you, Willie, where can we find your work and follow you?
So mostly the same channels on Instagram. You can follow at We Are All Homeless or at Willie Baronet, both of which I post lots of things related to the project. The project's called We Are All Homeless. So on TikTok, there is now a We Are All Homeless channel. I've got a Facebook group, We Are All Homeless. I personally am on Facebook, of course, and on LinkedIn as well. The website is weareallhomeless.org, which we are about to update because we just last week found out that we have achieved nonprofit status. So I'm very excited about moving forward with that, which means a lot of web updates. So anyway, yeah, I'd love for people to follow and stay connected. I answer the messages. I have a couple of volunteers who help with some of the social media, and we track comments and so forth.
Good to know. The exhibit runs through August, so those of you listening and you want to visit us at the College of Physicians of Philadelphia, 19 South 22nd Street in downtown Philadelphia, historical building. It's been there for a couple of hundred years already. The society, as a society of physicians and other medical experts, has been around since the end of the Revolutionary War. And it's quite a place to visit. And I am very happy that we got to collaborate on this and got to see it put together. On the Mutter Museum Instagram page, there's a neat time-lapse video of everything coming together. That is at Mutter Museum on Instagram, where you can go and see a lot of these photographs and other videos of how it all came together. And it's very inspiring. But most of all, I think, the work that you're doing is fantastic, bringing attention to a segment of the population that often goes unrecognized, that often goes ignored, right? Or often is seen as a nuisance when in fact they are a fellow human being going through a situation for which they need help. You would probably stop and help somebody with a broken leg, I would hope. And so why not stop and help somebody who has unfortunately doesn't have the resources to have housing, permanent housing or secure housing. And like I said, all of us are at risk for this. Many of us are at higher risk because of the situation with finances and the cost of living, etc. So great job in bringing this together and using art, which is something that tickles all the senses, right? And makes us remember things a little bit better than a boring lecture at a lecture hall. Willie and Leah, thank you so much. I cannot begin to thank you for your work, for your dedication to this very important issue that many people are facing in the country and around the world. Again, don't forget to follow them. We will put the websites and social media accounts in the show notes. Just go ahead and check those out as well. Leah and Willie, thank you again. Have a good rest of your day. Looking forward to all the work that you're doing. And you have a home at the College of Physicians.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Renee.